many ways we can talk about the wealth, and there is some cosmic pattern which is showing when that difficulties may happen in our life. And in Jyotisa, we are talking about 4 ayanas. We have dharma, which is the personal meaning. We have the artha for sustenance, kama for relationship and networking, and we have also the mukti for liberation. But for all of them, we need some foundation, which is the prithvi, because all of them will demand some kind of peace and the foundation. Therefore, it's the earthy element. So without that sustenance, that financial security, it's very hard to make them fructify long term. So in today's video, we'll be going through 3 proven tactics to time financial difficulties, and they will ground the foundation for more nuanced one in the future. So let's roll the intro. In the Jyotisa, we have many levels, and there are many ways to handle this. And in today's video, we'll be going through the Bava-centric approach. So we will be going through the houses. We will start from this generic one, then we will go to the main category, and then we'll find one in the specific chart which is making the whole things very effective. It's like the numbers in the bike lock, right? You need to have all 3 numbers to open the lock. So similarly, each dasha system is giving us the green light. The more green light we have, the more secure the prediction. And one thing more, we have to remember that if there is one yoga which is showing that the wealth is going away, it doesn't mean that the person is broke. These yogas may be present also in chart of wealthy people, because there will be something else in the chart which will bring the wealth from another source, like for example 10 from moon, or 4th from the sun or Jupiter, or few other things. So as usual, we have to take into consideration the whole chart. So if we go through all the houses, and we will find that one generic one, just from the name, that Dhana is coming or is related to the 2nd house. But in the money matters, we are not alone. The money, they say, is going from one person to the other and multiplies in such a way. Therefore, we borrow from others. We have relationship like loans. We need always another people. Also for partnership, for agreements, for deals, for sales. Even when one is a streamer and is in the one place seemingly alone in his cave, taking the kshetra sannyasa, still we have those others virtually connected to that person and being in some form of agreements, which is generating the wealth. Therefore, that house and 7 from that house. So we have 2nd and 8. And for difficulties, we need some affliction. But for this yoga to give financial difficulties, and which we can use in timing, we need nodes. And not only that, there is also a planet which will confirm that this is something more serious. There is a whole philosophy which is taught in the Jaimini Upadesha Sutra, how this one planet, which is the moon, connected to that yoga of the nodes in those places of 2nd and 8, is giving the full Kema Truma yoga, which is bringing the financial difficulty. From various reference points, it will have a different meaning. So we can see them from Arudha Lagna, from Karakamsha, from other points as given in the Shastra, right? So those complexity of chart analysis, it's not coming from some astrologers who just like to make everything more complicated. It's all there in the Shastra, and we just try to unify all of those principles and make it more understandable. And what is beautiful about this principle is that the time is somewhat ingrained here, because we can use this nodes in 2nd and 8 with the moon from the dasha, from the sign which is active at that time. So we have learned 2 main ones, the Audaika and the Narayana dasha. So now you can see Rahu and Ketu are in 2nd and 8, and especially related to the moon. Must be the moon for the full-blown Kemadruma, and then you know that in that dasha, the problem will come. This is also taught in the Sandraji book, Narayana Dasha. So each of us will have some period in our life when we will have those nodes in 2nd and 8, but as said, it is on the steroids when Moon is joining this yoga. Now the second rule, I remember when I was doing the reading, and then I said that in that specific time you have incurred losses because of the property, and that was in the context of relationship. And that was very accurate. And the foundation for this prediction is quite simple. Just the lord of the property was badly placed, and it happened to be Karaka related to relationship, Venus. So in a Rashi chart, we have to remember that it's quite close to the Kashinat Hora, because Kashinat Hora is the D2, right? The Rashi chart is D1. D2, the next chart, the next Varga, which has to do with finances, is D2. So D1 is also very physical, and it's also very much resource-centered. Therefore, everything in the Rashi is somewhat related to the finances. And here we can take the main directions, the main doors to the chart, which are the Kendras. So the first is about your choices. If you have badly placed first lord, there is the risk that in the dasha related to that planet, it's also a form of Rajabanga yoga when you are resigning from the things. The context will be also related to the yoga, to the planet of the Lagna Lord. Then your finances may be afflicted because your own choices or your lack of activity when you need to be active. Similarly, for fourth lord, we are doing the same in the matters of properties. For the seventh house, we are working with the agreements and deals. The seventh lord is badly placed, and even if you are a freelancer, it's okay, but be very careful when it comes to partnerships. Sometimes it's best to work alone in such combinations. So maybe going into collaborations may give you more bad experience, but the whole chart have to be analyzed. So always we have to pick up more than one yoga. For conclusion, for the 10th lord, of course, we'll be talking about all assets related to work, like projects, products, which are going with the person who is cooking something. Like, for example, in the film industry, you have to have camera, you have to have lights, all of these things around. These are your assets. If the 10th lord is badly placed, somehow there is a risk that you will lose those assets. And for fourth lord, as said before, is about the property. So these are our main dhanas. They're all in Kendras. And when that Kendra lord is badly placed, then it is not protecting its house. If it's in the Dushtana, you have to always take into consideration the Avashta, because it will be totally different for benefics and malefics. How we use that in timing, whenever that planet gets activated in the Rasi Dasha, Narayana Dasha, or other Rasi Dashas, then it will create the problem also through the Karakatva. So take into consideration the whole yoga. What is the planet? For example, Mercury will show directly with money. If it's in the Mars, it may have to do with properties. Or Saturn may be bare land. With the Jupiter, it can be related to kids. You may lose a lot of money, right? So here you have already few intersecting data, right? We have a Lord, we have the Kendra first, and this is showing the category of what's going on. And then we have this planet, which is showing how or to which substance, right? The Karaka is showing the substance. So what is present when this happens? Imagine you have a curse there, right? So this is activating also the whole suffering, which is coming, you're attracting that. It is coming from the past life. If it's also shown there in the chart. Okay, before we move forward, I would just like to share that if you'd like to have your own chart read by me, the main Rashi, Navamsha and Dashansa, the chart of fortune, career life and relationships with all tips and timings and remedies, then you can find the link in the description. And now let's go to the last rule. Now we are going to that third part. And we have to remember that within 2 hours, many people will be born. Will they all share the same financial situation? Probably not. There will be some common patterns, but within that lava of karmic modifiers in that soup of data of karmic things, the big modifier definitely will be the Navamsha, because it changes it can be 5 minutes, every 20 minutes, depending on the ascendant. And the scenario will be totally different. So, as we said, this is like the numbers in the bike log, right? If you got first, second, and third row correct, then you are opening, right? So the more levels are guiding you in the same direction, the effect will be so much stronger. So you would say 2nd and 11 in the Navamsha, right? That is what would be intuitive. But here we are taking the 10th house, because in the Navamsha, the Kendras are very important. This is coming from the calculation of the Navamsha itself. It is based on the foundation, and from the foundation, we are then counting the Amshas. So therefore, the Kendra, which is related to the sustenance, is the 10th house. So in the Navamsha, the 10th Lord, if badly placed, the time, the dasha, it can be Graha dasha, it can be Narayana dasha, related to this point will reveal time of financial difficulties. And again, we can use the Karakatva of the planet itself. If it will be sun, it will be father, government, like rules. There is change of rules. It can be threshold in your financial calculations. You went below, now you're above because of some change of rules. That rules are changing because of some party or some other external factors. They may be so many things. All are related also to the 9th house in the Rashi, because this is also something outside of our control. So therefore, this timing method, which is taking into consideration those 3 things, the 2nd and 8th with the nodes, here we can use that from the Dasha Rashi, the Kendra in the Rasi chart, and this 10th Lord in the Navamsha. If you are in that time when any of these are afflicted, then it will incur some losses or some financial problems. If more than one, if you have in 2 or 3, then it may create some more problems, because then you have no respite to go into the other sources for help. You cannot compensate with other possibilities you have. So sometimes it ends up in bankruptcy, sometimes it ends up with the jail, like for Lauryn Hill. She was in the Libra Audaika Dasha, and the nodes and the moon were in the 2nd and 8th. It was quite a problematic time for her. And that was so heavy, because all 3 rules were singing the narrative. Okay, guys, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching and being here with me till the end. If you'd like to learn more about completely different type of wealth yogas, then please consider watching this one.